Oh, that shit is on Evergrande. That's a debt. That's a bet.
Yes, sir. Peace to the family, peace to the
The
tribe.
Templar,
Welcome
the Templar
to
papers.
Nick is back with
Okay.
another video. Welcome to Harrison's Book Club. Everybody, go ahead and introduce yourselves. We got a broad, nice, beautiful night above us, so let's get to action rolling.
What up? My name is Breeze. You can find me on Instagram at Jabriji. Um, Also follow my YouTube. You can find it through there and the Hero Fans Book Club. I like astrology and esoteric things.
Indeed. My name's Kyrie. I'm an astrologer by trade, but also, dibble and dabble in occult metaphysics, ritual magic, ceremonial magic, sex magic, uh, just all around the dark side, light side, angels, demons, ancestors, altar work, all that type of shit. I'm all for that. So if you into that type of shit, follow me on social media at the Hood Mystic, where that's basically what my content is about.
He over there texting him. What's up with y'all? It's your boy AD. Um, Tonight, we are here to talk about some astrology. Also, just talk about our research and things we just been doing. Keep you guys in the mix. Always want to give y'all some nice information, things we always study, and just one thing we always talk about here a lot is astrology, esoteric information. So that's one thing we always want to keep on deck because when you're in this journey, studying is the most important thing that's going to grant you wealth and wisdom in your life. And I'm learning that for myself and where I am in my life. So, what we got here for you tonight, right? Find the 140. We wanted to talk about some astrology, right? But one thing that we want to make simple for astrology, we're going to talk about the moon because the moon is very important in sidereal astrology and it's something that is not looked at in tropical, and we don't dive with that because that's an old form of astrology. So you can go find videos of understanding the procession on Hood's channel. You can find it in Initiates. In our last episode, we talked about it when we went over Cat Williams' chart. So it's a lot of information on that from us. But one thing I want to pull up is understanding the objectives, along with you using astrology according to your life. Because it's easy to go get a reading from somebody. It's easy to just look up information, but understanding the spiritual values that you get from researching this information is the important part. But please tell me how your night going. Go ahead, drop questions in the comments. Anything that's on your mind, things you want us to go over while we're here. Feel
Let's
free
have
to.
an interactive show. So I don't know if how many people in the chat or people get here. We can keep reiterating and reminding the people, ask us questions, astrological questions. Don't be boring and ask us to read your chart because that's like super cringe. But just questions about astrology as a whole. You understand what I'm saying? Why is it important? Why does it matter? Um, Stuff like that. What are y'all questions about astrology? So, you got people here that's willing to answer questions and have the conversation. So don't shirk on the opportunity. Even in the comments, post this live. If you ever in the comments you want a question, I'm sure one of four of us will see that comment and will respond. So, be active in your realm of learning astrology. Because when I first looked at an astrology chart, I didn't know what the fuck I was looking at. So I had to actually learn and ask questions. So I think some people just expect you to just have a natural gift to understand astrology, and the reality is that it does not work like that.
I'll shade to that. So what we got here, just a little small little article. You can dive. There's multiple books you can dive into, but we want to keep it nice and simple because it's so much information with astrology. So it's always about creating a path into what you're doing, and you want to build a structure. So with astrology, as we want to focus on is the moon. But before, as we told you about the moon before, there's other things that go into the chart, like the houses, where your moon sits at. So I wanted to bring up this article, talk about understanding Dharma, Karma, Moksha, and Artha. And these are really just foundations into your chart to help you understand you, especially understand the difference between where your moon sits at within a nakshatra. Because you'll have someone that has the same moon as you or same sign, but you guys are different. And nakshatras help understand that. Whereas in Western astrology, they focus on more where things sit at and how the seasons are approached. Where sidereal, you have the moon going through the lunar mansions on a 28-day span. It sits in each sign for almost 2 to 3 days. So to dumb that down, we're here to understand the pushatras, right? Or the padas, as you can say another way to say it, for where the planets would sit in your chart. And these help you understand the inherent values of the universe. Whereas Artha, Kama, and Dharma helps you understand where each part of your planet sits at. So it's 4 parts to these, right? So Dharma, the first one we get started with. Let's go down this right. Dharma means the truth, the right way of living, and human behavior is considered the necessary order of things in the world. On the grander scale, it refers to the cosmic law of rules that's created from the universal chaos, right? So being conscious in your actions, words, and thoughts, having compassion, sensitivity, all the good stuff, right? But at the end of the day, your Dharma represents your way of life and soul purpose. So understanding that and how you move, how you think, and how you feel is one key step. What y'all think, gentlemen, about Dharma? How do you approach Dharma in your life?
I seek it out through meditation. I seek it out through doing things that brings peace to myself and what I got going on. Because my understanding of Dharma is like the opposite of samsara. Samsara is like going to work. Dharma is like coming home, taking a bath, watching something on TV that'll get you laughing. Something that brings peace, something that brings you at ease, you know what I mean? Because all the spiritual stuff nobody cares about spirituality when you're stressed out and you suffering, could you imagine trying to go to a hospital and say, hey man, I'm here to read people charts for them? They're gonna look at you like you crazy, as opposed to say you go to the park, you know what I mean, people chilling, you know what I mean, hey, can I give you a tarot reading? They will be more interested in it. So that's what I would say about Dharma. It's all about peace, and relaxation.
I like that, Bertie. I like that. So now I saw a question in the comments. Thank you, Ms. Johnson, for the question. And I'm going to pull that up because a place where you can look up your chart is astro-sheet.com. I'm going to pull that up for us so you guys can understand that, because you're going to get on the device. You don't know how it works. So just starting with simple things and looking at it is just the step of the way. But on our second one, right, we have Artha. And I'm explaining these things to you just because these are going to be shown on your chart when you look at it on AstroSeek. It's going to give you actual degrees where your planet is sitting at for you to understand within those House and Lords. But with Arthur, it's the security of having material comfort you need to live in the world with ease. While some people think that to be spiritual means to be poor, Arthur is not about rejecting the world, but being content with the things you own. It's to live in skillfully in the world material objects that exist for your benefit. Arthur is one of the basic human dignities, to have enough assets to live on and care for you and your family. And Breeze, it gets us into that question about, like, we were talking about the necessity of being rich, right?
Right, and how you can do things in excess with, wanting to have that material security. I think at a certain point, it's important to move on. Just like, when you talk about material security, you're talking about the root chakra. So we're talking about the first energetic aspect or energetic concern of the human nature. But if you never move on to like your emotional state or what kind of value you bring to the world or how you can show compassion in the world, move all the way up to the fourth, all the way to the sixth, seventh. You can end up in a place where you just hoarding resources. Now you want a house with 16 rooms. Now you want a Lambo and a G-Wagon and stuff like that. And it's like, when does it all end? It's in the lines of that. And that's kind of like distracting you from like the purpose of your existence, and I'm still figuring that out personally, but I know me stopping myself from like chasing women or wanting a Cuban link chain. When I was young, I wanted a Cuban link chain that weighed a kilo. Just cause, you know what I mean? Like, I think it was cool, you know what I mean? And I'm sure we all got things that was like, man, that would be cool if I had that. But, what are you trying to prove? Who are you trying to impress? And it just stagnates your growth spiritually.
That's gas. Peace to everybody that's joining. Hope y'all join the show tonight. But I have to say, like, yeah, because especially like it kind of, and all these things that we talk about build a like corresponse to each other, because it's like the Arthur going with the Dharma and the Kama. They all building off each other in a way to help you understand your values and things you want, but keeping you in a straight line of like, I know this don't serve me, but this does, because it's helping me get here. And I'm doing something with it, being attentionist. All right.
Yeah, especially like when you get older, right? You never see a 60-year-old person at the club. But like when you 20, you can't get you out. You can't pull you outside of the club. So why, when you get older, you stop doing stupid shit? Because you get wiser. So Dharma is an aspect really for young people, right? And it helps you make decisions quicker than other people because you realize it's more to life than whatever hang up you on. And then other aspects of life that allow you to kind of fixate and focus on making real money, you know what I'm saying? And it not like, it's different when you gonna make money and it's gonna change you versus you're gonna make this money and be the same person. You more liable to make the money. So it's like everything becomes metaphysical and an internal realization. And so like figuring that part out, especially with like Dharma, it allows you to like transcend the steps in your life because you're doing what's right. And the fucked up thing about spirituality, from my opinion, is that people just want to do whatever and then like do a spell or do a ritual or some concoction, some potion to override the bullshit in their lives, and that's more related to karma. So you'll have a lot of like spiritual karmists that's just like crashing out in the name of spirituality. And the difference between like dharma is that it don't matter if you spiritual or not. If you doing the right thing, if the right thing for this person to go to McDonald's, that's what they supposed to do. Don't mean I'm supposed to go or judge them or whatever. It's just so much that you can just get on the right path of life. Especially like if you just a human trying to figure it out, start with Dharma. Like figure out what Dharma means. Intuitively know what Dharma means and say, is my life based upon karma, reap what you sow, or Dharma, I'm on a spiritual path. And these are individual choices. You know what I mean? So I think it's deep, especially with astrology, because we can get into a whole another rabbit hole with that on who you possibly could be based on your chart. Because all these concepts are astrological: karma, dharma, artha, kama, desire. All of these things that are in the rap video that you want so bad, you can find that part of your life in the chart. Whether you want to be a model, I done seen so much in a person's chart. It's like, oh, you was sucking dick last Thursday, wasn't you? I could tell. Your fucking Lilith is conjunct Venus, conjunct the moon. Just jokes. Not
And
really.
that
Not really.
that leads us into karma to in your pleasure. So when you think about your sensual pleasure and sense consciousness, and one thing that's we constantly talk about, because that's an aspect of your nature that you're gonna always deal with, and is learning how to like find value in the things that you do and honing your energy. And that's something like I could attest to, and still I'm learning to this day, because it's so easy just to feel something and go fuck off. So being understanding this part is related into basically what Hood said with the Dharma, but having a focus point on where you're gonna put your energy. And sometimes half of that energy could be put into a ritual, but that's just like an aspect we're not thinking of because we don't go our way to learn it. But this is a place for it now. So it's like I hope everybody like writing down, taking down notes, because we're gonna get answering questions because I see them piling up. So I'm gonna get to it with this, right? Because now I'm gonna just go ahead and move into Moshka, and I'm gonna pull up the other chart where you could look at this in your chart, and we're gonna really talk about it with the moon, because that's what rules the lunar mansions. But Moshka is related to your liberation, right? And you could say this is a point that everyone's trying to reach. Liberation, understand you're breaking your birth cycle. And that's due through understanding, right, what you can learn through that in your chart. Just a second, I'm pulling it up. My fault. I know y'all over there yawning on me. I be moving slow with the computer.
You good, bro? What you pulling up?
I'm pulling up the aspects of today. The computer being slow. y'all go. Alrighty, y'all. So right here you have your some like to call it the old reliable dusty chart. I say it's Bay right here.
Handy dandy.
It's the tool that's gonna get me right. Anyway, so I'm gonna show you how to just work AstroSeek real quick. So for the people who want to get on later after the live, or want to get on a different day or whatever, or only time while you're studying your chart, because I know we got some real Astro heads in here. Shout out to y'all. But what you want to do, go to horoscope, go to astro-seek.com, type it in Google, pull up here. Hit free horoscopes, hit birth natal, or you can just go down, hit sidereal astrology calculator. But I just hit birth and natal because it's just kind of easier to put it in. And then I just scroll down, hit the sidereal options. But once you get here, you have everything laid out. You have your transit charts on the right side. Then you got here was laid in all your planet actions. So, because I know sometimes it's just hard. Not everybody can just look at a chart and just say, oh, this is doing this and this is doing that. Sometimes you just need the key to tell you, and that's why we have maps. And did you know Nakashatra literally means map star? So here you can go to Sigil chart, aspects, Nakashatras. You can see where all your planets sits and where your Nakashatras are. So for this person, they have a Virgo moon because the moon is in Virgo right now, and they Nakashatra of the moon is literally right on Hasta within Virgo, right? And you can always scroll down and see here. And the reason why I brought up the 4 universal perspectives and objectives of life is then you'll understand your planet more within those purposes to understand your chart specifically. So for right here, the moon is in Moshka, right? And the ruling lord of the pot lord is the moon. So working with that and you understanding Nakshatras and you understanding your moon, because we also have other diagrams to help you understand the houses that you can also just take, you can screenshot, whatever, or you can look it up. But what y'all want to tell me about a Virgo moon? What you be doing with the moon right now with that's in Virgo?
So you would, it's like the moon is your home self. So your home self is different from the person that you're trying to be on the external or in the world. So, and both could be very devastating, right? So, say for instance, you want to be a scientist, that would be your sun sign. But is your room dirty? That would be your moon sign, right? You could be a dirty room scientist. But it's all well and good until you meet a girl and you got fucking hot pockets molded under your bed, which would have been a potential wife because you're a scientist. Now it's just somebody that's just disgusted by you. So I say all of that to say, and it's different in reference to the house, right? So when you looking at charts, you always got to reference the house, because if you don't reference the house, it's extremely general. And when I say extremely general, it's hard to get a real read. But in a general, broad sense, this is just a time that you would be coming up with ideas, practical ideas, in reference to things that you can do from the home, things that you can make money. But once again, we're dealing with the chart. So we're dealing with like some extracurricular, extraterrestrial aspect to yourself. So during this time, you might have an idea that you could go viral, or you just might want to be at home a little bit more, or you want to like be at home and be a little bit more productive. You might be cleaning a little bit more. You might be a little bit more aware of your kids, aware of your wife, aware like your senses is like heightened a little bit more. But you could also use this as an opportunity to like take pictures, um, like do something that could get your quote unquote family notoriety. So it could be you and your dog. It could be you by yourself. Like, but like you got an opportunity within yourself to like work towards something. But once again, this is a transit, a moon transit. So lighting in a bottle, right? Encapsulate an idea. And if it's something really like you really want to make something happen long term, this will be like the time where you can get that $1 million idea. So that's how, just like a broad over stroke, but I can be way more precise if I knew the house.
And just a minute ago, if you guys can see, I pulled up the houses in sequence to show which houses that you know which are first, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, eighth, and tenth. So you can go back and screenshot that. You can look up to get you a better one. But and look, and since Hood said he didn't know which one, right? Well, you can check for your chart. It simply tells you in the key. So Virgo, that's his eighth house. No, I'm tripping. I'm tripping, bro. I'm sorry. That's Scorpio. That would be his sixth house. I mean, the Virgo is his sixth house. I'm sorry. So the reason why it says no house is because I didn't put in the time, but it'll give you an accurate time to let you know where exactly at, and it'll have angles and cuts into it where it have precise measurements. But if you don't have a time, you can always say unknown time, and the astrology key will still help you and give you a foresight of what's going on in your chart. All right. Oh, my fault, yeah.
What you got on it, Breeze?
On Virgo moon.
Yes, sir.
What'd you say?
Transit energy.
So I would say whenever it's usually payday. It's the end of the month, so you might be able to be bringing in. You may be attracting some funds, or have a true way of getting some, or you may be spending money. You know, it's some type of money that's being flowing, some energy that's being flown in the aspect of money. It seems to always be payday when I look at the moon. It's in the earth sign. It's not always, but it's like it's always right there. And then in Virgo, in the moon, it's kind of like being happy with being at home, kind of what you were saying, you know, because it represents the Hermit card. So you may have something that you've been really wanting to work on, or a book that you've just been meaning to get back into. Hell, it may be a show that you've been wanting to check out for the longest.
Type shit.
Yeah, and that's what I would say about that transit. We also got the South Node conjuncted right there.
Yeah.
And what I would say about that is it may be an urge to maybe do some things that you used to do, like some things that'll make you happy. But that goes back to like things that you once started, and it'll be a good time to like jump back into it, you know, breathe life back into it, look at it with fresh eyes.
Yeah, I rock with that. Cause like also like when you really think about Virgo, it's also you creating that harvest. But like at the
Hmm.
same time, this that energy like you can really sit down. Cause like South Node, right? When you think about South Node, you're dealing with like future aspects, you coming into things. So you really sitting down in the posture and working on that form, that breath work can really like get you flowing. Because most times all it takes is you like digging in the ground, planting the seed, and letting that seed foster up, you know. So, but I digress. But I want to get into one little smooth thing my boy Sacred was doing some research on, and I kind of want him to wrap into that a little bit and get me caught up into it because I'm trying to understand what he getting at, and it kind of has some astrology to that too. And it's so many forms of astrology around the world, things that happen. You have Hellenism, and we got to understand Hellenism, so understand people's stories and them talking about stuff will like get us going. Oh snap! Exit out of that.
One thing to add to the moon in Virgo is when you think about the body as a temple and the different energies that reside in the body, Virgo would align with your stomach and your intestines. So it may be a good time, to not eat heavy foods. You know what I mean? Drink you a smoothie, eat a light dinner, or even drink you some wormwood tea. For the next 3 days, because once again, like we're talking about sidereal astrology, Virgo is the biggest sign. Virgo is like 46 degrees. And that's something that we want to be talking about more as well. I'm working on like charting it myself so I can have a actual like, I guess, to scale chart. But not to go off on a tangent. You're dealing with your stomach. You're dealing with like that deity Geb in Kemetic sciences. Um, yeah, man, it might be a time to really drink some smooth move tea, clear it out, because um it ain't nothing better than a clean gut, once and we're talking about dharma in the beginning, how you gonna have dharma and you constipated. um just something to think about.
Yeah, having a clear stomach when you go into meditation, like will give you like the
Hmm.
best
And
feeling.
not
You
to be
gotta
graphic,
go
but
ahead.
like I was just telling my girl, like, man, when whenever I drop a big deuce, man, I know I'm gonna lucid dream. I know I'm a lucid dream. And it
Mm.
sounds funny, but man, when you clear, spirit can flow through you, man. Spirit can flow through you a lot easier. You know what I mean? Your astral body can move a lot fluidly.
Yeah, yeah, and you like you saying that too. Like when you think about Virgo, it's controlled by Mercury, and Mercury controls Gemini and Virgo. So like when you think about meditation, it deals with the hands because Gemini references the hands and Virgo represents the
Hmm.
stomach. So having a clear stomach and using the hand posture when you meditate goes into a ritual ceremony along with the planets and stars. So think about that when you like going across your planets and where it's sitting at. But like remember, start with your sun and moon first, because that's gonna be the simplest thing. And then once you have a great understanding, you can move on throughout your chart. But let me go ahead and pull this up.
Cancer, but the moon was in Cancer, so a lot of that energy, like the moon in Cancer, leading into the moon and Leo, like that's kind of like the tough spot for a lot of people, the moon and Leo, because the moon, like when you deal with the moon sign, I know what people are naturally prone to think about a sign and the energy associated with the sign, but it's not always the same because the same person in the daytime can be a completely different person at night. A neighborhood in the daytime could be a completely different neighborhood at night.
That's a fact.
Downtown in the daytime is different downtown at night. So when we look at moon energy, you gotta actually be mature to even handle it, because even when you talk about sex, sex is so powerful that it might wipe away full consciousness. Like a person might want sex but be horrible in bed, but then want sex again. It's like, don't you know that girl just laughed at you last night? Like, I don't care, I just want sex. Like, like it don't, it's like the moon is such a powerful force and energy that, people love 19 keys, but 19 keys once said that he don't understand the moon, right? Because what is the moon? The moon is a woman. What is a woman? A cycle. See, we taught linear, like if you do good you graduate, but what if you never graduate and you on a perpetual loop and cycle, and you just gotta master the world like double dutch? So that's what like the moon represent. It's like space. It's like everything extraterrestrial and multi-dimensional about ourselves. So the moon in Virgo, like you actually gotta, when you deal with astrology, you should be building up. So like the spleen, how you gonna have an active spleen if you got a bunch of shit in your gut? You ain't even raised kundalini. So it's like a lot of times for most human beings, the spleen, people don't even use it. Or the kidneys. When people talk about these particular energies, when they fucked up, right? But think about
Mhm.
cancer, breast. Do you got to be conscious to recognize breast? Do you got to be conscious to recognize stomach? Nope. Like these are like more easier digestible concepts. But when we talk of, like, we could talk for 4 hours about the moon in Virgo and its implications and intricacies because it's just that deep. You know what I'm saying? But sorry for the mini tangent, but yeah, I just was just thinking about that. Like, it could just lean into many degrees and variations. Because what is Virgo? The Virgin, the goddess. So the moon in Virgo, like, this is a time for witchcraft and nature magic and sex magic. But it's like some people be like, man, I ain't even looking at it that deep, man. I'm just trying to, get
Mhm.
some money. But it's like,
Mhm.
how you gonna get it? Through ceremonial magic. All right, when you look at the magician is actually the dude on the eight of disc, right? Before he was the magician, he was the eight of disc, sitting there, do in his laboratory, figuring it out. And that same person that was putting in that work was the one. But the magician more than likely was a sex magician. You know what I mean? But they'll never really get to that part.
Nah, for real. And nah, it wasn't no tangent, bro. It was just some fire info that went along what we was talking about.
Hmm.
No cap. And like really we can honestly like just answer the questions and close up so we won't let the people know we didn't about them.
Where and beat their head up, beat their
Yeah.
head in. So it's a questions about Psalms 19 verse 1. I don't know
I
what
got
they talking about.
I got that
Go
right
ahead.
in front of me.
Go ahead.
So it says, "The heavens declare the glory of God, and the firmament showeth His handwork." And I feel that that does relate to astrology, even in you go back to Genesis, my favorite book, it talks about how God did create the stars. And that was in the first chapter. But when you think about the firmament, you think of something that is kind of like a mediator, the heavens and earth. So when you
Mhm.
look at the stars is kind of like your forecast, or it kind of gives you an insight into what the heavens is, because in a physical form, the heavens is nothing. And not that is nothing, nothing is nothing, something. It's just like it ain't nothing you can hear or see or think to really conceive what it is. And so we have the stars in our sky to actually give us direction, as well as how the sun influences us and influences everything. All the planets does as well. It's just a little bit more of a subtle influence. Like for the moon, for instance, the moon whole claim to glory is the sunlight. Without the sun, the moon is just a rock floating in the sky. Um, and it's I got some notes on the moon. It's one thing that I just thought of when I said that. I'm gonna bring it up in a second.
Yeah, pull them notes out. Them notes be dangerous.
The sun leads the universe towards the ultimate actualization of its potential in order to attain its final destiny. Liberation from the veil of matter. The moon, on the other hand, directs the individual to immerse itself in materiality and become encased in the ignorance so that he may be attracted to it. So basically, it's saying that the sun created everything, and then the moon is there to get you to participate in the creation, and that's why, um, when we talk about the moon, we're talking about sex, we're talking about how you feel, you know, the moon is like on some shit like, I don't care what's going on. If I don't want to do it, I ain't gonna do it. You know, like really setting your ways, not really being able to be moved. But if it is motivated, it can be one of the most powerful, life changing things.
And you gotta remember to think moon, right? Illusion, right? That's
Mm-hmm.
where you're gonna always find the illusion that you selling yourself
Mm-hmm.
and how you gonna feel and relate to. Because someone might say, let's go on this walk. Outside, yeah, I go walking with you on the inside. Man, what the fuck? I just got work. Well, I'm trying to eat and go to sleep. They want to go.
Yup.
You gotta
Yup.
realize that that's the thing you're not paying attention to, and you push that off. And it's always a famous quote about energy, but it cannot be destroyed, only transformed. So if you don't do something with that energy that you constantly feeling and rip off into, you're gonna be stuck in the same spot, and it feels like shit when you look around and you realize you've been doing the same thing that ain't getting you nowhere, and so. But
I should. I got one more
go ahead,
little
bro.
piece.
Go
So
ahead.
this is about the moon and sun again. Shining in the borrowed robes of her master, saturated with and reflecting every passionate impulse and evil desire of her grossly material body.
See, when you find like literature like that, you gonna study and realize like, damn, like it's talking about an astrological perspective, and it's gonna blow
Yeah,
your mind. So it gets into conversation is what came first, the chicken or the egg, and not like, and I'm saying that because of what came first, religion or astrology. You know, like
astrology.
so like those things are always gonna be like one or the other, and So, but
Spirit of science.
yes. So if that's all the questions, if anybody got any more, we went over how to find your chart and your purpose by looking at your dharma. You can always go back to a certain part, and then we're gonna have them clips out so you can find it too. But if that's all the questions, if I'm not missing anything, I want to say thank you for joining. Please share, like, and subscribe. You can find me on my Instagram or my YouTube at AD, Instagram AD_Senpai33. You know, you can go to my Calendly, book yourself a reading. Go check out the recent videos of the Heritage Book Club. We just dropped Genesis chapters 12 through 14, where we give a deep understanding of esoteric literature. So if you want to understand type of things when it's titled like that in the Bible, go check out the Heretics, and we dive in deep into that. We make it really simple. So I appreciate y'all joining. Go ahead, check out my brothers. They code at what they do.
Check me out on Instagram. You can find me at the Hero Fans Book Club with AD, where we are going over the esoteric Bible. Yeah, man. Soon you'll be able to get readings from me, man. You love Hood Mystic. Hood Mystic taught me. I call him Professor Hood. So if you're trying to see what's good, you should. Nah. Yeah, man. Follow me on Instagram, man. Ask me anything. I don't be doing nothing but meditating, you know.
Indeed. I was going to answer that question. I don't know, these niggas in a rush. They got hoes and shit they gotta take. So but no. I was just gonna say one thing. When we deal with the stars and we deal with the personality aspects of it, that's one degree of it. But the more literal, deeper understanding of astrology, and especially like the moon, is the plants that are cultivated through nighttime energy. That during the daytime we harvest and we cultivate and we dry and we put in our teas and we put in our ointments and we put in our tinctures and we synthesize to make our medicines. And you know, we get high and we get drunk and we take shrooms and trip out and have all of these particular experiences. If we don't relate those to cosmic influences over a long period of time, like I don't know how many years, but you know, we are living in a world where we could like actually bear witness to the result of astrology. And even, you know, it's books you can buy, right, that will relate uh herbs to planetary influences. So if you ever wanted to tap into Mercury or the sun or the moon, you would know what herbs to take. So I think, you know, we should always take a gander into that aspect of astrology, especially when we're talking about the Bible, which is an astrological book, but it does reference plant medicine as being the God that we should actually worship and bow to. So, with that being said, you know, thank y'all for actually doing this live so we get some education, because you never know. With all the twerking going on in the internet, it feels good to talk some astrology with some black
Ashe.
people. You know what I mean? So
Yeah, for sure.
that's necessary.
It really is. You know what they say? You gotta create the space for it.
And people will catch up. Maybe they will or won't, but we gotta at least do the content so people at least can get primed to have these particular conversations about their chart and then know the seriousness of it, you know. Because I did a whole etymology that whores are basically people who study their chart. So shout out to all the whores out there studying their fucking sidereal chart.
Sir. Well, all right, y'all. Y'all stay tuned. We got more to come. Peace.
Yes, sir. Peace.